So let's share a few things to remember. What we just learned: open your mail. The problem will not go away. It will likely get worse, so handle it now while it's still manageable. 2, take action. If you're having problems making your mortgage payments and you don't find help, you will likely lose your house. 3, find a HUD certified housing agency who will provide you with a counselor. You'll get free help. You should not have to pay for counseling. This is your taxpayer dollars at work. 4, don't abandon your property. And 5, continue to make your mortgage payments.
If I could add one thing to that, it's don't be embarrassed. I mean, one of the things that we see far too often when we talk to consumers is they've always been able to make their payments, they've always kept current, and now because of a series of unfortunate circumstances, it could have been a bad financial decision on a refinance, it could be that they've lost their job or had a medical problem. All of a sudden now, for the first time in their life, they can't make the strokes and they don't know what to do. And like many of us, they're kind of embarrassed and they're ashamed and they're afraid to talk to anybody. And that getting over the embarrassment, there's lots of other people in exactly the same situation that you're in. And that embarrassment factor tends to lead to the ignoring the problem. If I'm embarrassed, if I ignore it long enough, it's going to go away, and it's not going to go away.
Also, as the HUD certified counseling agency, ClearPoint Financial Solutions offers counseling over the phone. So the person does not need to come into the office, they don't need to know who they are, and so it helps that person maintain their confidentiality if they need general information or they need a whole counseling session. All the information that we take is confidential and we respect the person's dignity.
Okay.
I think it's just like any typical problem. No matter how bad you think your problem is, trust me, there are people in worse situations than you are, and that happens over and over again.
Okay, well, we have our first caller. Her name is Sharon, and she says she has a loan in pre-foreclosure and has been to HUD, but her income is not enough. What else can she do? Dawn?
If she's come to HUD, she's probably contacted our office for some information on what her options are. And again, the main thing we would recommend would be that she contact a HUD-approved housing counseling agency. Even for homeowners that find themselves in pre-foreclosure where they've missed payments, they've been late, there may still be an option to get a loan modification, there may still be an option for them to refinance, or if it really turns out that they truly cannot keep the home, there are options available to them other than foreclosure. And that's where having a professional HUD-approved housing counseling agency counselor who has no vested role in what the decision is that the homeowner makes. They're not trying to sell them anything. They're just trying to provide objective, unbiased advice can really be of assistance to those homeowners.
Okay, so find the right help. Sharon, it's not too late.
It's not too late.
It's not too late.
Also, we want to stress that she wants to stay in the property. She needs to stay in the property, take care of the property. And like I said, Jeff had said, there are resources after foreclosure that the person can take advantage of if the property is in good condition. This helps continues and stabilizes the prices of the homes because there's no homes in distress within the neighborhood where you have tall grass or you have a house with broken windows. We want the homeowners, even if they come to the conclusion that either A, they don't want the property, or B, they can't afford the property, to stay in the property, take care of it, and give it back to the lender in good condition.
Okay.
Right.
Great. So let's take a second here. We would just want to remind our viewers and listeners, this is a live call-in program. If you have a mortgage related question, just call 441-1818 or 1-800-801-6500, and we'll do our best to have your question answered. Our next question is from Lawrence. He sent it to us via our website. And Lawrence says, for the past 6 months, he's been working with a nonprofit agency to get a loan modification. Recently, they contacted him to tell him of a loan modification to consider. However, in the last 6 months, his income has continued to decrease, and he'd like to be considered for the Hope Now program, which he says he qualifies for. Now, he's been told if he refuses the loan modification that's being offered currently, he risks not getting either one. So, Elias, let's start with you. What would you recommend on that?
I recommend that this person would continue to talk to the nonprofit organization. Already he has done the right thing to talk to somebody that has helped him obtain this modification free of charge. However, it is important to have the lender updated on your income. That way the lender can offer you a modification based on your current income, if it has increased or decreased. And once again, if the lender has offered you a modification and it's a very good modification, if it's a reasonable modification, I would recommend the client to take that modification and risk not obtaining another one.
Okay.
And Claudia, I'd like to add that even for homeowners that think that they are eligible and may even be eligible for Making Homes Affordable or the Hope for Homeowners program, that's not a guarantee that the lender is willing to put the homeowner into one of those loan modifications. So being eligible for something and the lender actually approving it are two different things. So again, we would recommend that those homeowners continue to work, as Elias said, with the nonprofit organizations that can help them decide if they should take the current modification that's being offered to them.
Okay, great.
By the way, I think it's important for people to recognize what a loan modification is. It's not necessarily going to be a reduction in principal. Mm-hmm. If your home was worth $250,000 before when you purchased it, it's now only worth $125,000. The lender more than likely is not going to reduce the amount of the principal. They are going to fool around with the interest rate. So I think when people talk about a loan modification, their expectations need to be kind of clear when they get into this. A lender is not going to take a 50% hit on the principal. They just won't. That's very unlikely.
And Jeff, how long can you expect a loan modification process to take?
The process can take a long, long time. It can take months. And people need to be aware of the fact that they need to be persistent, that this is not something that they can pick the phone up and potentially fix their problem with one phone call. They need to realize that it could take 3, maybe even more months. And the programs may actually change. There may be improvements. So if you didn't qualify initially, being connected to a HUD-approved counselor can help you stay connected potentially to a resource that may now be available to you that wasn't when you first started that process 3 or 6 months earlier. So it's a daunting process, but there's help there, and it's free help that can help you navigate this very difficult situation.
So it's going to take a little work, but there is hope out
That's
there.
right. Be
There's
persistent.
hope.
Don't give up. Stay in your home. Absolutely.
I was going to add one more thing. Even if the person has been considered for a modification, it is important for that person to continue to contact the lender and say, do you need additional documentation? Do you need additional pay stubs? There's time-sensitive documentation like pay stubs, bank statements, the IRS form 4506T that needs to be updated, as well as utility bills. All of that information, the lender needs to continue to be updated on a month-to-month basis, and it's important for that client to talk to their lender and say, do you need any updated information?
So be organized and keep your documents together.
Keep track of who you talk to. It's very important to keep a log, who you talked to, what phone number you called, and all of the details that were talked about, because the servicers are trying to spool up on the programs that are available, so it's important that you keep track of who you talked to and the things that you were told.
The lenders are overwhelmed with these. They have literally thousands of people from across the country. You're not the only person that they're working with.
That's right.
Okay.